Hello, everybody. Um, this is actually an informative video about our final exam. Um, our final exam will take place January the 31st, and it will start at 9 o'clock. And it will end at 9 o'clock. Basically, we will have 12 hours. Don't be scared about this fact because we've extended the time as much as we can, so you can use your time during the exam. Basically, the exam will be divided into two parts. One of them is the final exam, and then we will have another part, which I'm going to explain in a moment. Now, this final exam will have 4 questions. And this is basically the classical exam that we are used to. Since we have online education nowadays, we allow you to use MATLAB, Mathematica, the internet, etc. So you can use your lecture notes, you can use whatever you want. But the only restriction here is that there should be no information sharing between students. That's basically cheating. So cheating is prohibited. By the way, you can use MATLAB, Mathematica, all the tools available to you at its maximum. So if you're trying to answer a question, use as much as MATLAB as possible. If a question has a restriction, you will see that in the question here. It will be written down here. This is an online exam, so basically this is something between a usual exam where you use pen and paper and try to answer some questions, and an exam that's fully programmatical. So it's between both of them. So it will have both aspects in them. So you will try to answer a question that's a classical pen and paper question using the MATLAB Mathematica tools, your lecture notes, whatever. So keep that in mind. This is very important. And this exam will take place on DOST, since we will use a special system here. The exam will be individual, so we will generate questions for everyone. They will have numerical differences, so it would be a bad idea to copy from someone. So we want to prevent cheating as much as possible. So you will have your own exam. The questions will be almost the same, but numerical differences will appear. So basically, this is an explanation of this part. You will be seeing this part. So if a problem due to the restriction of 1 megabyte appears, you can also upload to Ninova, but the exam will not be available on Google Classroom because, as I've said, everyone has a different PDF file assigned due to numerical differences, so you will have to use Ninova or DOST, and you can prefer whichever you want, but try to upload on DOST. If you get an error, use Ninova. So basically, you will have 12 hours to solve 2 different exams. One exam will be this final exam. It will have 4 questions. This will be a little bit harder since this is the classical part. Before the pandemic, we did have a final exam with pen and paper, and then we had a final test. So that final test will also be available to you. You will have this post-exam here, and in this post-exam you can see that you have the same amount of time, so you have 12 hours to solve both of them, and almost all rules are the same, but the only difference here is that there will be 10 questions, and they will be each 20 points, worth of 20 points. So the only thing that you need to remember is you need only 100 points you have to score 100 points. That's it. So you can choose any 5 question of this 10 question batch, and you can just go ahead and solve that. It's you have a ton of variety here. You can go ahead and choose whichever you want, whichever you feel more confident in. So these 2 exams will take during this 12-hour period, but you don't have to use all of the time. We don't want you to panic because of time limitations, so keep that in mind. As I've said earlier, please try to collect your answers into one PDF and don't just try to send the questions in batches. You have to provide a PDF for the post-exam and a PDF for the final exam. So you will upload basically 2 PDFs. If you use pen and paper and want to take the photo, which I don't actually suggest you, because this is an online exam basically. If you try to solve all the questions by pen and paper, it will be much harder than you would expect. So using the help of MATLAB, using the help of programming is basically one of the objectives of this course. So we are trying to force you in this exam to use MATLAB, because nowadays technology and everything is developing in that way. So pen and paper is possible, but I don't suggest it, because most probably you will not be able to solve them by pen and paper. If, by the way, you choose to, you're free to choose it, but as I've said before, try to use MATLAB as much as possible, Mathematica as much as possible. It depends on your choice. So, since there's a time limitation, you have to send it until this point. After this time limit, we will not accept any answers. So keep that in mind. You have 12 hours. If you still mess up, that should not be the case. So, by the way, these 2 exams, you will have 12 hours, and you will need to write your name, your student ID, and then which one you have solved. And don't forget to update your MATLAB license, because nowadays we did have an issue about that. So have MATLAB ready for that day. So that's basically it. So see you at the exam, basically, and good luck.